What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and in this one we are going to be doing my episode 4 predictions for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. These are my predictions for season 1 episode 4, Parallels and Interiors. Oh man, guys, this is a really hard show to predict what's going to happen. I mean, it's really hard because there's so many options and so many different ways it could go. I mean, if I'm going to make a broad prediction, I think the Bat Titan is going to be the one that Godzilla fights in the end of the show, but that's only because you see that big flying bat silhouette in the trailer, and I don't think that's going to happen until the very last episode. By the time you're watching these, it's going to be probably frustrating for a lot of you that I'm so bad at speculating because I haven't seen the second trailer for the show. I know a second trailer released at New York Comic Con. At the time I'm recording this, that's not happened yet. That doesn't happen for a minute. So I don't know what happens in this show yet, and it's hard to predict based on the first trailer alone. This game gets harder and harder every single episode because I have so little to go off of, and I'm basically out of footage from the first trailer. It seems every time I make a prediction, I predict something for 2 episodes away, and then I predict something for the next episode, and the stuff I predict for 2 episodes away happens to be the next episode. So I'm going to try and change that here. I'm going to adjust my predictions, and I'm going to try and make them a bit more realistic. This is the episode right before the mid-season finale, and if you're aware of how shows like The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones operate, that means this is probably going to be a pretty slow episode, especially because Matt Shakman, who worked in Game of Thrones, mentioned that they kind of followed a similar arc, where in Game of Thrones they planned for like a big season premiere finale and then middle season episode. So I'm assuming they're going to do something similar here, so I'm going to guess this is going to be a real slow one. The title is Parallels and Interiors, and I'm not entirely sure what that's in reference to. If I had to guess, I think Parallels means there's probably going to be a bit more of a direct relationship between the flashback story in this episode and the modern story. That's probably what it's going to mean by parallels, but I don't know about interiors because I'm not expecting many. As far as what's happening in the past, I think we're probably going to jump forward another 2 years or so to see Monarch a bit more well-founded. I think we're going to see like Randa and Keiko heading a more fleshed out Monarch. They're going to be the kind of leads of it. I think they're also probably at this point going to have a bit more of a distant relationship with Shaw as they've been moving up in ranks through Monarch, and so he's going to kind of be pushed to the side a little bit, and I think that'll probably cause tensions between Shaw and Randa in particular, as I think Keiko's sweet enough that she'll kind of keep him in her mind always. I think they'll be searching for a brand new monster in the South Pacific, if not returning to the Bat monster in the Philippines, which is what I would like to see, but I doubt will happen. I think they're going to want to keep inventing new monsters, so I think they're going to be looking for a new guy. But yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would prefer them to go back to the Philippines in search of that bat, start researching it properly, learning more information about it, and getting some more details on that thing. I think our modern trio is probably going to spend the next episode just trying to find their way out of Alaska. I don't think they're going to make it out of Alaska in this next episode, or at least not until the very end of the episode, because they're kind of stranded there without any way out. They got no plane, they have no way to contact anybody, at least that we're aware of, and also just for budgetary reasons, I'm not gonna expect to see that Ice Muto at the start of the next episode. I'm thinking that guy's gonna be gone for the next episode. I would assume that the episode will pick up with our characters having run away and escaped from its view. Maybe we'll get like 1 or 2 shots of it going back into the ice or something, but I think the next episode is gonna start with them trying to formulate a plan. I think they're probably gonna investigate Hiroshi's campsite a little more, and I think that the point of the next episode is going to be trying to investigate the flashing light Kentaro saw at the end of this episode. He saw some flashing light in a distant mountain, and I think they're going to probably head there in search of Hiroshi because I'm assuming it was a fire Hiroshi was setting. I'm going to guess that they'll raid Hiroshi's camp and gather some resources from him, and I think in doing so they'll find a way to contact Monarch. I think ultimately the decision and the main crux of this episode is going to be coming up with a decision of what to do. Are they able to escape on their own? Are they able to find Hiroshi? Or is it down to the point where they're desperate enough to have to contact Monarch themselves through like maybe a radio or something, and have Monarch basically come pick them up, essentially turning themselves in order to keep living? I think either that's gonna happen or Monarch is gonna find them regardless, because now that they know that these guys are the Randas and that they're related to Hiroshi, they'll probably be able to track them down and intercept them based on where Hiroshi was last going in the first place. If our characters are able to find where Hiroshi was headed, certainly Monarch is gonna be able to. But now I am gonna confidently guess at the end of this episode that they are gonna get picked up by Monarch, and I'm gonna assume that Shaw gets arrested. I think he's gonna get himself arrested because I'm sort of guessing that all of the footage we have in trailer 1 comes before or during episode 5. So I think there's gotta be a way to get Shaw locked up by Tim and Duval, and this is the best way I can think of doing that, is having them contact Monarch for help. As for Tim and Duval, I think the rest of the episode is gonna deal with Tim and Duval trying to race Monarch in order to capture the gang, because I strongly believe that Tim and Duval are the good guys. I think they're the good guys on the good side, and I think Verdugo is going to set Monarch on high alert, get these guys. Monarch's going to be going after them with her own people, and I think Verdugo is going to be the bad guy of this season, and I think ultimately we're going to be trying to avoid her. So Tim and Duval catching our guys is a better outcome than Verdugo, I'm going to say. That's just a guess. Maybe they're all working together and Tim and Duval will just turn them over anyways, but I think Tim and Duval are going to be the ones we're going to want to watch out for. I think they're going to be the good guys who are going to kind of defect from Monarch in order to help our guys at the mid-season to end of the season. I would also think the next episode's, at least I'm hoping, going to kindle the relationships we've got here. I'm hoping Kate and Kentaro finally are getting along the full time, and I'm hoping that we mend the relationship between Kate and May, and in doing so, I think we're probably going to see flashbacks to when they were dating and also when they break up, because they keep talking about the breakup and how Kentaro treated her, and I think we're going to finally have to see that. It would also be a good way to take us back to Kentaro's life and tell us a bit more about who he is, because they've alluded to the fact that he's like an art guy or something, and they have not really developed that yet, so that'd be my guess. And I think that their new journey will parallel the breakup in some way as they mend their relationship. I don't think they're going to get back together romantically, but I do think they're going to become friends again. And finally, for the millionth time, I'm going to guess that we will return to G-Day +3 to see the rest of Kate's backstory as her and her mother finally share some screen time in the relief camp following Hiroshi's disappearance. The other alternative ending that I could see happening at the end of this episode is whoever it was that May called is able to somehow cross-intercept her, pick her up, and save the day, so all of our gang gets picked up by May's friend, who, again, I don't really know why I'm thinking, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a former girlfriend or boyfriend of May's who was part of the military along with her, and I still think she's part of the military. Maybe I'm misremembering her character bio at this point. They still haven't brought it up, but I'm pretty sure her character bio says she's a British expat. As for the Titans, who do I think we're going to see in the next episode? I don't think we're going to see anything in the next episode because, again, these kind of episodes are typically the slow ones, so I think if anything, we'll see that ice kaiju at the beginning of this episode, and it'll probably just burrow back into the ground, and they'll be like, that was close. And I think that's probably going to be the last we're going to see of him in this show. I could also see us maybe returning to the Bat Titan and seeing a bit more of that guy, but maybe not, probably not. And finally, I don't think we're going to see any Godzilla. They got Godzilla out of the way. He's in the first episode, he does his big roar on the Golden Gate Bridge. The next episode, he's not really in. And then episode 3, he shows up to do the big Castle Bravo. And so I think this is going to be another off episode, and then we'll get Godzilla in episode 5 again. I'm going to assume they're going to kind of go every other episode with Godzilla. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Comment below. Let me know what you guys are thinking or expecting to see. It's really difficult to predict what's going to happen. By the time I do the next episode prediction, I should have probably already seen the New York Comic Con trailer, so hopefully I'll have a bit more of a direction on where I'm going with this show. But until then, that's the best I can do. So comment below and let me know what your theories are. I cannot wait to read them. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.